I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the Bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. Before we get started with the No Half 7 hockey coverage, first let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're good and educated about the show, you can click on that merchandise tab. Take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt and all the classic gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck. Socks, throw pillows, wall arts, bed sets, so many others. It's easiest to say it that we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this operation, so here's how you can jump in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. You can find us primarily now on Instagram. We are trying to gravitate towards Threads. We are still on Facebook, and of course we still have a presence on X, but we don't like it there very much. So you can help us out on social media, interact with us, follow along, and please support the show however it is that you can. It doesn't cost you a single thing, and it doesn't take you but a second, but it does go a long way to helping us. You can find the podcast on YouTube, so we would appreciate if you would give us our channel a follow. Also, turn on those notifications and subscribe to the channel as well. So thank you so much. Take love and respect to each and every one of you Renegades who has jumped in the trenches there on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to support the show, you see the virtual tip jar. It's over there on the corner of the desk. You see it. It's got a QR code on it. You can scan the QR code at any time, or you can go to Venmo and you can just search out Renegades of Puck manually and make a donation to the show. Every dollar goes a long way, and you can help me pay off my oversized bill for swearing on the show as of late. The swear jar could use a little bit of attention. So again, if you can donate it, we sure could use it. Thank you so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. Now listen, I know it's time for the No Half 7 hockey coverage, so let me get to the goods. It's time for operation number 925. That is right. It is time for show number 925. And at this moment in hockey history, well, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 8th place in the Central Division and find themselves as one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. After 14 games skated, they have a record of 4-9-1. They have 9 points. There's no reason to calculate how far they are behind first place because they will not be competing for first place this season at any point in time. On home ice, which is where their next game will take place, they have a record of 3-6-0. They have scored 33 goals this season. They have given up 50 goals against. They have a goal differential of -17. Now, before we talk about the Utah Hockey Club, and before we break down the matchup between these two teams, let's update you on the rest of the Central Division, although at this time, the Nashville Predators are just holding up the basement. The Winnipeg Jets are in first place with 26 points. The Minnesota Wild are in second place with 20. The Dallas Stars find themselves in third place with 16 points. Utah Hockey Club, which we'll talk about in just a second, 15 points in fourth place. The St. Louis Blues are at 14 points. Colorado is in sixth place with 12. Chicago, seventh place with 11. Then the Nashville Predators with single-digit 9 points in eighth place in the Central Division. Now, the Nashville Predators, after this one-night homestand against the Utah Hockey Club, find themselves on that CMA road trip, the Get Your Shit Together road trip, if you will, and possibly the last opportunity for them to do so before some changes start to seriously be made. Monday, it starts in Colorado. It heads Thursday to Edmonton, Friday at Calgary, the 17th of November in Vancouver, and the 20th of November in Seattle. For the Predators and the Utah Hockey Club, this is the first of 3 meetings, but they won't see each other again until near the end of the schedule, and then they'll see each other twice very quickly. On April the 10th, the Predators will be in Utah, and on the 14th of April, the Predators will be hosting Utah one more time. Now, this Utah Hockey Club, in their most recent stretch of action, well, let's start with they're in fourth in the Central Division. They played 14 games this season. They have a record of 6-5-3. That's 15 points. They're 6 points currently ahead of the Nashville Predators. On the road, they have a record of 3-3-2. They've scored 41 goals. They've given up 47 against. That's a goal differential of -6. And in their most recent stretch of action, I think that the sanitation department might be coming to collect a certain hockey team right now. On the 28th of October, it was a 5-4 overtime loss versus the San Jose Sharks. On the 30th, it was a 5-1 win versus the Calgary Flames. On the 2nd of November, a 4-3 overtime loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. On the 5th of November, a 3-0 loss at the Winnipeg Jets. And most recently, on the 7th of November, a 4-2 win win at the St. Louis Blues. Now, quick update before we get into the matchup that will affect manpower for the Predators. Tommy Novak, Colton Sissons still listed as day-to-day, and that is certainly having an impact on the Nashville Predators, but it goes well beyond not having access to Tommy Novak and Colton Sissons right now. NHL ranks in this particular matchup. The Predators, 2.36 goals per game, is 30th rated in the NHL, 2 spots from last. The Utah Hockey Club, 2.93, is 18th overall. The Predators are giving up 3.57 goals against. That's 27th in the National Hockey League, while the Utah Hockey Club is giving up 3.36 per game. That is 26th in the NHL. Shots for category, shots on goal, 31.8 for the Predators is 6th in the league. For Utah, 26.1 is 28th in the league. That is a incredibly low shot volume in the shots against category. 29.4 against Nashville is 21st in the league. 28.6 against Utah is 15th in the league at this time. Special teams, the Nashville Predators do have the better power play and the better penalty kill, so the Predators are favored in this particular part of the measurement. 20.8% conversion rate on the power play is 13th best in the league. 10 out of 48 is how the raw data shakes down. 16.2% power play conversion rate for Utah is 22nd in the NHL. 6 out of 37 is the raw data for that opportunity right there. Penalty kill unit, the Predators still one of the best in the league. Second best overall, as a matter of fact, 90.2% kill rate, 5 power play goals against on the season. Utah is the 18th rated penalty kill in the league, killing off 79.2%, but they have given up 10 power play goals against on the season. Now, the Utah Hockey Club, formerly the Arizona Coyotes, these names and these players are familiar because they typically find success against the Predators even when they're not such a great team. Keller has routinely found great success against this Predators team in the past. He's got 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 total points on the season to lead Utah. Gunther's at 7 goals and 5 assists for 12 points. Schmaltz, no goals but 12 assists for 12 total points. Cooley is at 2 and 9 for 11, and Sergachev 2 and 8 for 10 total points. On the Nashville Predators side of things, we're not seeing a lot of movement this week, and wow, it's starting to look rough. Forsberg, 6 goals, 5 assists for 11 points, now falling well off the point-per-game pace that he had maintained really for a season plus now. O'Reilly's at 3 goals and 7 assists for 10 total points. Yossi's at 1 and 7 for 8. Steven Stamkos, 4 goals. That's nice to see, plus 3 assists, 7 points. Nyquist also 4 and 3 for 7. Anticipated goaltender matchup sees Nashville Predators former goaltender Connor Ingram coming back to Bridgestone Arena at 6-2 and 3. Reasonable record right there. A 3.42 goals against average, an 8.80 save percentage. Not so great on those numbers, but that win-loss record, not bad. UC Saros, win-loss record is awful. 3-7-1, 2.85 goals against average, 9.04 save percentage. Those numbers are not that bad, indicative that the goaltender is playing better individually than the team is performing out there as far as results go. So that's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators' next home game against the Utah Hockey Club's first of 3 games this season against Utah. It's going to be interesting to see the new look Utah Hockey Club here. I wish they would get a name already so that I could stop saying it the way it is now currently. I'm not a big fan of leaving the team nameless going into this year, but that was their prerogative, their business decision, and their right to do. And if they don't ever add a nickname to it, then they want to keep it that way. That's again their right. And frankly, it won't make any difference to me after this season because I won't be covering them. So that's going to do it for the preview here for this game. Let's go. Let's talk about what happened on the second night of back-to-backs in Florida against the Panthers. It's the Reverse Sports full game recap. It's going to be ugly, but we're going to get through it nice and quick, and then we're going to get to the analysis, and we're going to do that quickly as well next on the Reverse Sports on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to November the 7th of the year 2024. The Nashville Predators were in Florida to take on the Panthers. Head coach Andrew Burnett deploys his lines and defensemen in the following combinations: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Stamkos, Marchessault, Jankowski, and Nyquist, Tomasino, Parson and Evangelista. Smith, McCarron, and LaRue make up your fourth line. Shea and Yossi, Luzon and Carrier, Delgaizo and Shen make up your defensive pairings. And Scott Wedgwood gets the start in net on the second night of back-to-backs. We find ourselves at 2:31 into the first period. In the first action of the game is when Scott Wedgwood comes up with a save on Samskovich. It's the first shot on goal of the game. Wouldn't be long till we find our next action at 3:53 when Reinhart puts his 11th goal of the season into the net, putting the Florida Panthers ahead 1-0. It was a wraparound that Wedgwood initially stopped, and then it went off of Wedgwood's stick, which was laying on the ice, and rebounded back into the net. So a double rebound off the goalie stick, and then into the net. Reinhardt's 11th goal of the season. 3:55 now, the first period. It's Wedgwood coming in with a save on Lundell's deflection, but at 5:13, it is Tkachuk with his 4th goal of the season. He was first on that loose puck, and he was not challenged at close range, so he converts with some ease. 2-0 now in favor of the Florida Panthers, and the Nashville Predators do not seem to have a whole lot of life early in this first period. 5:28 of the first. It's Bobrovsky coming with a save on Luzon. There is your first shot on goal of the game for Nashville. At 8:42 of the first, it's Wedgwood coming with a save on Mikkola. At the 11:43 mark, now already past the halfway point of the first, it's Wedgwood coming with a save on Lundell. At 12:41, Evangelista's off to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking. Wedgwood would come up with one save on Tkachuk. The Preds PK would do a decent job. At 15:42, the first, Luosterainen's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Bobrovsky comes up with not one but two saves on O'Reilly before the end of this power play, but that would be it for the Nashville Predators. The 17:39 mark of the first is Bobrovsky coming with a save on Steven Stamkos. But in 19:54, just before the end of the period, Shen's off the box. 2 minutes for holding. That's going to put the Florida Panthers back on the power play only for 6 seconds. Nothing happens here. We hit the end of the first period. Florida leads 2-0 out, shooting the Predators 13-7. Let's carry that power play over on the clean sheet for 1 minute and 56 seconds. That's where we will find Rodriguez stepping out from the goal line and firing, beating Wedgwood to make this game 3-0 right here. The Florida Panthers just seizing on every opportunity and just honestly running the Nashville Predators out of the building. 5:50 of the second period. It's Wedgwood coming with a save on Barkov at 7:54 mark of the second. It's Stamkos off the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Wedgwood would come up with a save on Rodriguez's trickler. Not a whole lot there, but still a dangerous puck getting to the crease. Yossi would pick up a penalty. 2 minutes for tripping. That would lead to a 5-on-3 for just 5 seconds. On the 5-on-4, it would be Verhaeghe coming up with his 3rd goal of the season. It was a backhand conversion that puts Florida ahead 4-0 here in the second period. Halfway through this game now, we find ourselves now at the 13:09 mark. Forsling out to the box, minutes for tripping. This puts the Preds on the power play. Bobrovsky comes up with a save on Stamkos. And on the second opportunity, Stamkos lets the one-timer from the left circle go. You know the one. That's his 4th goal of the season. And Steven Stamkos seems to be heating up and doing the things that Steven Stamkos does. So the Predators finally on the board in this one, but still find themselves down 4-1 at 14:06 of the second period. McCarron off the box, 2 minutes for tripping. Wedgwood comes up with a save on Reinhart at 19:32 of the second period. It's Verhaeghe, his 4th goal of the season. That is going to put Florida ahead right here by a score of 5-1 at the end of the second period. The shots on goal, Florida 25, Nashville 11. So the Predators only 4 shots on goal for the entire second period. There was a large scrum at the 20-minute mark. It led to several matching minors. LaRue and McCarron ended up in the box to start the third period, and Greer and Nosek ended up in the box also to start the third period. They would be joined at 1:07 of the third by Bennett and Schenner, each off the box 2 minutes, and then another large scrum by the Predators and Florida Panthers at the 2:21 mark of the third period. It's Mikkola off the box, 2 minutes for slashing. Bobrovsky does come up with a save on Yossi. The Predators unable to convert in this situation. Forsberg would hit the post as well. That would obviously prevent the Predators from scoring on that power play. 6:30 now of the third period. It's Schenn off the box, 2 minutes for interference, but Belinsky's is also off the box pretty quickly after that. 2 minutes for holding. That's going to create a 4-on-4 for a minute and 43 seconds. A Predators power play of 17 seconds. Bobrovsky would have to come up with a save on Stamkos, but the Preds unable to convert. 10:17 of the third period. Delgaizo's off to the box. 2 minutes for holding the stick. The 10th penalty of the game on the Nashville Predators. Nosek is going to score his 1st goal of the season, making it 6-1 in favor of the Florida Panthers. Juuso Parssinen picks up a goal at 11:51 of the third third period, his second of the season. That gives the Predators their second goal of the game, and great to see the youngster getting an opportunity and picking up his second goal in the last couple of games. 12:42, Marshall Mikkola off to the box, 2 minutes each. 15:27, Luosterainen, 2 minutes for cross-checking, and that wraps things up. The Florida Panthers score a 6-2 victory over the Nashville Predators, out shooting the Predators 34-18. Overall, one of the worst performances of the Andrew Brunette coached Nashville Predators era. We thought the game on Monday night against the LA Kings and that performance was bad. Well, this performance somehow lowered the bar even further. We've got a lot to talk about, people. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got analysis, we've got box score, we've got more coming up. We need to start having a serious talk right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. Now listen, I'm going to go through the analysis, and I'm going to go through it clinically, and we're going to do the same with the box score, and then maybe add a little bit more opinion and emotion to the close of this show. I'm going to try to keep this type of measured tone through the analysis portion. Wedgwood, 28 out of 34, 6 goals against in this game. And you know what? It was really hard to watch. Scott Wedgwood, I have seen him in the past. He is a reasonably decent professional goaltender at the NHL level. I did not see any alarm bells when he was signed by this Nashville Predators team. I thought coming in for Kevin Lankinen, it might be about equal, but it does appear now that for this Nashville Predators team, the first sign of trouble this season was when Lankinen left, Askarov was traded, and Wedgwood was signed to be the backup behind UC Saros. Scott Wedgwood, again, he was really hard to watch in this game. The wraparound, he stops it, but then he manages to put the puck in on himself. The Predators' defense in front of him was certainly not helping in any or many ways at all. So for Wedgwood, so far, the first few starts that he's had, a pretty disappointing performance overall so far as a Nashville Predator. Steven Stamkos has been going in the right direction since the Tampa Bay game. Picks up another goal, also generated 5 shots on goal in his 16-19 total time on ice. And for Steven Stamkos, he's doing his thing. Going back to Tampa Bay, now going back to Washington, going back to visit Florida. These are buildings, rinks, teams that he has played for and against his entire career there in the Southeast. So it appears Steven Stamkos is back to doing Steven Stamkos things. Now, 4th on the team in scoring, only 4 points from the lead, only 2 points from being the goals leader on the team on an offense that's rated 30th in the NHL at this point. So Steven Stamkos starting to do regular Steven Stamkos things, and that part of the game is at least enjoyable. Parsonen, this is actually quite enjoyable right here. Parsonen picks up a goal. It's his second of the season. He's going to the hard areas. He's working hard. He's using that big frame, and I really, really want to see him continue getting opportunities. I mean, listen, with Colton Sissons and Tommy Novak both being out injured, we don't know what the true status is of that, how long they'll be out. I think Parsonen should just be plugged in and given the opportunity to run for the remainder of this next road trip if those two players or one of those two players is not going to be available. So Parsonen, I appreciate what he's doing out there. Young player, working hard, getting rewarded, going to the hard areas. Luke Evangelista is getting much of of the same thing. He's working hard out there, going to the hard areas, and I appreciate what he's been doing the last few games out there while the Nashville Predators offense has been largely absent and hard to find. Evangelista's finding a way to pick himself up a couple of points all along the way. Del Gaizo, another young player out there on the rink doing some good work, picks up another assist in this game. Also had a good, clean sheet. As a matter of fact, he was one of the only players on the team that had a plus rating, and I know we don't really use plus minus for much of anything anymore, but Del Gaizo, one of the only Predators on the ice with a plus. I wanted to mention it. Young player, working hard, doing good things. It's almost as if last year's mentality of let's turn the team over to young players that are going to work hard and the fan base will get behind them and cheer and they'll do good has been replaced by let's spend all of the franchise's money on a bunch of recognizable names that come in and underperform. Are you telling me at this point after 14 games that the players of the veteran level of status, the proven winners that were brought onto this team, don't understand the coach's style yet, don't yet know how to find success on the ice? Something is amiss. And you can keep telling me that Andrew Brunette's seat is not hot, and you can keep telling me that Barry Trotz truly cannot blow this thing up because of the way the contracts are structured, but something is about to reach a breaking point with this Nashville Predators team. The style of last year, the mentality of last year, the attitude between the team and the fan base was so much different, and it was so much more fun and enjoyable, and that was a team that wasn't expected to accomplish anything. This year, the GM of this team single-handedly raised the expectations, not just with his signings, but also with his words by continuously putting over how big and important these winning players were to winning hockey. A record of 4-9-1 after your first 14 games is not that. But the Predators were 5-10 last year, and they have an opportunity to reverse course and get things going in the right direction. I hope that happens. It makes it much more enjoyable when the team is playing decent hockey. All right, Nashville also took 11 total penalties in this game. They're not skating. They're not competing. I don't know what the problem is, but it's obvious. They are not skating out there. Not as hard as they can. Against Washington, when they started to compete, they started to get a little greasy. Things started trending in the right direction. They come out the next night in Florida. I don't care if it's the second night of back-to-backs against a really great team. I don't care about that. That shouldn't prevent you from being difficult to play against. That shouldn't stop you from pushing guys away from your goaltender, preventing guys like Matthew Tkachuk, who is one of the premier players in this league, just picking up a loose puck right there at the side of the crease and just depositing it as easily as they did. 11 total penalties. The Predators are not skating. They're not competing. They're chasing the game from start to finish, and that's why they're losing games 6-2. That's going to do it for the analysis portion of things. I told you we were going to keep it even and measured. Now we're going to hear from Stripe Digital Solutions. Then we're going to get through the box score, and we're going to close this episode out. We're going to move on to the next game against the Utah Hockey Club next on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions.
Welcome back in. Time for the good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score. Parsons, your goal scorer, and Stamkos, your other goal scorer for this Nashville Predators team on the assist side of things. Evangelista, Forsberg, Del Gaizo, and Yossi all with assists in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, Steven Stamkos had 5, Luke Schenn had 3, Ryan O'Reilly had 3. In the blocked shots category, Carrier led the way with 5. Good to see Alex Carrier, another young Nashville Predators defenseman, continuing to build and grow and do good things out there on the ice. ice. In the physical category, the hits, Forsberg with 6. Would rather see Forsberg scoring goals than leading the team in hits, but that's the way things are going right now. Luke Shen also had 6 hits, and LaRue had 5 hits to add to this one in only 8:03 in total time on ice. Now let's talk about the time on ice leader. 17:55 for O'Reilly, 16:33 for Philip Forsberg, 16:19 for Steven Stamkos on the second night of back-to-backs. 21-29 is the overall team lead by the captain, Romeo. 20-30 for Alex Carey. Again, great job by Alex Carey in this game. There's one more category where he excelled in this game as well. Power play for the Predators was 1 out of 5. Your power play time on ice leaders, Philip Forsberg at 4:45, Ryan O'Reilly at 4:21, Steven Stamkos 4:48, and then Captain Romeo at 4:44. The penalty kill unit was taxed too much. They were the best penalty kill unit in the league coming into this game, so I guess the Predators just assumed playing the penalty kill unit for the entirety of the game would go ahead and have things work out. But the PK unit was 5 out of 7, 2 power play goals against in this game, but still Herculean effort by this Predators penalty kill unit, led all the way by Luzon at 7:03 of shorthanded time on ice. 7 minutes and 3 seconds of shorthanded time on ice. Alex Carey at 6:55. Smith at 5:06. McCarron 4:23. Nyquist 3:51. Those shorthanded time on ice numbers are outrageous. The Nashville Predators have to get some discipline and start competing harder and stop taking so many penalties. Face-off winning percentage 59.4 looks good, but in a 6-2 loss, you got to wonder if the Florida Panthers even cared about possession by the third period. 39 hits, it's a good number, but for the most part, the Nashville Predators weren't able to use that physical game to be disruptive, frankly, in any way. 13 block shots, 2 takeaways, 12 giveaways. There's really no reason to beat on this box score anymore. In Wedgwood, we talked about it already. 28-34, 6 goals against, 8-24 in-game save percentage, 22 even strength saves, 6 power play saves. That's going to do it for the box score. That's going to do it for the analysis portion of things. And frankly, that's going to do it for this show. And the thought is this as we close. I thought Monday night versus LA at home was the bottoming out moment. The Predators came out of that game saying the right things. Yeah, I don't need the paper anymore. Saying things. O'Reilly talking about the worst game that he's ever played and how they needed to rebound. And a lot of the right things were being said after the piss poor performance in the LA game. But then the Nashville Predators went to Washington and they showed that they could raise their compete level. They showed that they could get greasy. They showed that they could get more physical. And they dropped a game there. Tough circumstance. They had a call go against them in the third period that would have tied the game. And it looked like there were some good signs coming out of that game. But I'm going to tell you that was a tentpole moment of the last 3 games, because immediately just falling off a cliff on the other side of this back-to-back against the Florida Panthers to make me think, what in the world is going on behind the scenes with this team? Barry Trotz saying he's got a plan to blow it up, yet everybody knows the team has long-term contracts all across the board, especially some of these massive new contracts and player protections that are involved with them. And head coach Andrew Burnett's seat is not hot at all, reportedly. Yet we're talking about blowing it up. Right now, there's something very wrong. The frustration is seeping, I think, from the front office through the coaching staff, the players, and the fans have just about had enough. We haven't even reached Thanksgiving yet, and this Nashville Predators team is on the precipice of falling out of it. So the only question to ask is, if LA was the bottom on Monday, and now Florida is a new bottom, is that it? Are they done bottoming out? Are they going to start trending in a positive direction, starting with this Utah game on Saturday night at home, to at least give the fan base something positive to remember before they head out on the road for 2 weeks? The Nashville Predators really need to start getting some momentum going in the right direction. They have a number of high-skilled, well-known, well-respected, and accomplished players on the roster. The GM raised the expectations, and he put that extra weight on the team. So This Nashville Predators team has the perfect opportunity on a long road trip. Started off with a successful game against Utah at home, and then go on this road trip. And as we've said so many times in the past, right at this exact moment in the schedule, get your shit together. And then come back with a new groove, come back with a new positivity. Because if you don't, at the end of the CMA road trip, if it's trending in this exact same direction, then the Nashville Predators will not look the same. And I don't know exactly what that means, but they'll have to make some sort of change. Maybe it's the GM, maybe it's the captain, maybe the new ownership of the team decides to clean house on everything because their business model is failing in front of their eyes. That's going to do it for Operation number 925. I told you I was going to keep it reasonable and measured. I'm not getting all worked up. The Predators aren't getting all worked up. I'm going to go ahead and give you the best analysis I can. I'm going to keep covering this thing, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling through the season. Hopefully by Thanksgiving, this team is going in a better direction. We've got more interesting and more fun things to talk about because I know what the consequences are of this. Not only the team itself falling out of contention, not only the team itself becoming irrelevant as we head into the coldest months of the season, but that means people will stop clicking on the show. That means people will not want to hear about it anymore. And the audience, frankly, no matter how hardcore and dedicated you are, will eventually completely check out and stop attending the games. They'll stop listening to all these shows. And frankly, that's going to be real bad for business, and it's not going to be a real enjoyable time for me. And, if it comes to that circumstance, I'm just going to have to start letting it all air out. Operation 925 is in the books. I appreciate each and every one of your individual time. I appreciate your viewership. And most importantly, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.